What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video. There's always been a debate over the years, and I think especially now with Super Rugby Aotearoa and Super Rugby Australia, is which is the better rugby nation. I mean, we can debate it from a provincial level, from an international level, and most of the time we would all go in favour of the All Blacks and New Zealand rugby. Why do we be in favour of them? Because they've dominated for so long. I mean, the Rugby Championship, come on, the results are there. Super Rugby, the results are there. They have been a dominant force in this rugby union industry for so long. And Australia have had moments where they've been phenomenal, World Cup winning team. They've had their moments where they've won the Super Rugby, but they haven't been at a consistent level as to what the All Blacks have been. I mean, it's Crusaders. What is it? Their fifth Super Rugby Championship that they're going for. Obviously, right now, the past two titles that are currently going underway, last year and this year, it was separated tournaments, so can't be qualified. But if you look at the quality of rugby that the Crusaders currently bring, it is just on another dominant level. I mean, they almost look like they cannot be beaten. With the quality of rugby that they bring. And I mean, credit to Scott Robinson and Scott Barrett and the whole team at the Crusaders for maintaining it for so damn long. But the reason for today's video is because former All Black star Andrew Mehrtens, the legend himself, doesn't buy into the debate that New Zealand rugby is automatically better, and reckons Australian teams would be more competitive against Kiwi sides. Well, after last week's game, when we saw the Brumbies take on the Reds, I think we could all say that was an incredible game of rugby. The Brumbies have been dominating the tournament pretty much like the Crusaders. And we've been thinking, is it going to be another one where the Brumbies were going? If you joined me on my live stream, I was saying, come on, Reds. I want something different. I wanted to spice up the tournament. And the Reds really did show up and showed the caliber and quality that they can produce, capitalising on errors, converting points when needed, and the Reds got through. And it was a remarkable game. And I think, having watched that and seeing how far Australian rugby has come, there's definitely an improvement. And I'll continue to what Andrew Mehrtens is going on to say. But if you look at the Western Force, a few years ago in the original Super Rugby campaign, Western Force weren't really a team we would be threatened as, whether you're New Zealand or South African or even an Australian team. It was Western Force. But although they're still a team struggling, every now and then they have shown a lot of improvement. And for that, you've got to give credit to Australian rugby for building and developing. Melbourne Rebels too were once a team that was easily beaten, but they are so they've come a long way in the sport that it just goes to show the development of Australian rugby. The Reds too, they were winning, they were losing, they were winning, and now they seem to be coming back into their own shell. The Waratahs are the only team really right now who's down in the dumps, who aren't producing good enough results as what they once did. A Super Rugby title winner, and they are just pretty much nowhere. So if there's anyone that needs work, it's the Waratahs right now. But Mehrtens, writing in the Sydney Morning Herald, said Australian teams would push the Chiefs and perhaps knock them off. I think that's a fair statement. And Australian sides need not to be nervous about the prospect of playing their New Zealand rivals in a combined Super Rugby competition proposed for late in the season, which is that Trans-Tasman Cup. He said, this side of a ditch, we've become force-fed the idea that New Zealand rugby is better, which baffled him. I don't subscribe to the theory that every game at the moment would be fertile exercise to lead another drumming at the hands of the Kiwis. Mehrtens said his former club Crusaders, winners of 4 consecutive Super Rugby titles, wouldn't be victorious in all 5 games if they played 5 matches against the Brumbies over the next 5 weekends. That's an interesting statement. If a New Zealand team stepped onto the field against any Australian outfit, that doesn't automatically mean they can. They'd come up trying. So interesting. He said New Zealand rugby can appear more exciting and lethal, but that was not necessarily the case because all 5 New Zealand teams employ a reasonably similar game style. But he said New Zealand had had the All Blacks teams who have struggled at the World Cups. Think form 97, 99 to 2007, when the match wasn't a quintessential New Zealand style, the danger of playing against your own style is also a problem to think of. Phenomenal statement there, and I think he's not wrong at all. And it just goes to show where sport is right now. 2 years ago, maybe we would say New Zealand definitely, but if we've seen things happen to New Zealand where they might have dropped a level or two, but obviously they're in a transition mode of players going to and from. And I think credit to Rugby Australia once again for doing what they've done and coming so far forward after where they were a year ago right now, with all the dramas of finances, CEOs, Israel Folau, all that crap that was going on. And they've managed to really show strength. And I think he's got a spot on point. If we look at Australia right now, the only team that's really concerned is the Waratahs. Chiefs, we know, aren't to that level of what they were once before. Highlanders, another team that a team like the Reds can really be competitive against. So it's happening. You're really looking at the Blues and the Crusaders, who are your dominant teams, but then you compare them to the Reds and the Crusaders, the Reds and the Brumbies. Sorry, it's very similar, very interesting, and a phenomenal opportunity for us to see in the Trans-Tasman Cup, which is why I'm excited to see how far these teams have come. And as Mehrtens says, having there is a danger of playing your own style of rugby over and over again, because you often forget how you need to outthink the other or the other countries who are totally different. South Africa, more of a kicking game. The UK, also kind of like a kicking game, with the odd surprise here and there. So, very good article, I thought, and very good point that Mehrtens made. So we'll see what happens as we produce this. He said he also conceded New Zealand sides were better at passing accuracy than Australian teams who currently throw too many passes that just go to players' shoulders. So interesting stuff once again. But when you're playing against a team like New Zealand, you kind of think more and you're more alert because you want to beat them just as much. So I don't know, it's going to be interesting. Very good article. Well done to Andrew Mehrtens on that one. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. That's going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you guys real soon for another one. Stay safe and never give up. Cheers.